message and I got kicked off. This must be going to be really good, really good. Okay, so you're on your book bar. You got your book bar. Where we at, Boondock?
That was crazy. That was crazy. The bar was too hard. The bar was too hard.
The bar was too hard, yeah.
But now, what I was saying is on page 164.
Gotcha.
And it's called, and the bar is, without purpose, your work can become shallow because it is solely about making money. When driven by purpose, you stop doing the minimum required. You really go deep within self. You become a creator. You become willing to go above and beyond the call of duty. So that one was something serious because, you know, a lot of us are simply driven by money, and you know, at the end of the day, money is just a tool for us to get things done. But when we focus on our purpose and actually making an impact on folks, that's what is really gonna change the world. That's what really is gonna change somebody, transform somebody to become a better person. So that's my thought on that one.
Exactly, man. Exactly. That's excellent, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's excellent. We got morning meetup, you know what I'm saying, folks up in here, man. You know what I'm saying? That's excellent. So, you know, very, very seldom do we get to have 3 book bars to have the folks, you know, again, learning and these things like that today. So we're just going to just jump right in. You know, we know that people's time is very valuable. So we just want to just jump on in right now. This is my introduction to who Bunduke is. Myself, I met Bunduke on the morning meetup where we, you know, 400, almost 500 now entrepreneurs meet up daily, every day, Monday through Friday. If you want to get connected with that, if you know somebody who is at different phases in their entrepreneurial journeys, you can holler at either 3 of us and we will have a link for you. That's the morning meetup. But that's where I met this brilliant gentleman in the morning meetup. And again, I was like, yo, let me just rap with you. I'm a high I, so I like to get connected with people because I'm a connector anyways. And when I talk to Bunduke, I'm like, dang, bro, what don't you do? You know, from Facebook marketing to an artist. I saw something else. He's putting out excellent apparel, clothing content. And every single thing, I'm like, geez, Louise, like, what else? The Airbnb. I'm like, bro, like
running that play too, running the
Airbnb. I was like, yo, I didn't know anybody. All I knew was Jamaicans been working this hard. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, are you Jamaican? He's like, no. He was like, I'm from Sudan. I was like, oh, all right. So we definitely need to, man, learn a little bit about what is a Bunduke. What is that, bro?
Yo.
Yeah, tell us about it.
So my name Bunduke actually means gun in Swahili.
Right.
Every time I tell people, like, yo, it means what? They're always taken back by that. But you know, it's crazy because, you know, by having that name, you know, I'm a straight shooter, you know. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm gonna get straight to it, and you can see with the content that I drop on my page, like I get straight to it. I'm as transparent as they come, and you know, I be spitting bullets, man, when it comes to this music.
Yeah, man.
So that's how that name ties in. But just to kind of give you an idea, so my family is from South Sudan.
Right.
And that's one of the newest countries in the world. It's only 10 years old.
10 years old, yeah.
So, you know, back in the day, you know, 30, 40 years ago, we were colonized by the British and the Egyptians, and it was ruled as 2 separate states between, you know, the Arabs in the north and the black Christians in the south. And so like after they pulled out, you know what I'm saying, there was like a big scramble for power. You rule in one country like 2 separate states, and then civil war ensued. So there was a 26-year civil war followed by a 17-year civil war, and like the turmoil in the country is very uneasy. But you know, South Sudan is a country with so many great resources. So
of course,
you know, for land is fertile, there's oil, things like that. So
they had to be down there doing some stuff, like causing some trouble, yeah.
You know how it is with these world powers, but yeah. So back in 2009, the country the country voted to secede from the South Sudan voted to secede from Sudan as a whole, so it became their own country. And they made that vote in 2009, and then 2011 we became our own country. So this year, 2021, was our 10th year anniversary. But amidst the wars, though, my parents escaped from Sudan. You know, they were fortunate to be, you know, some of the people who got a chance to escape. A lot of people got killed. You know, a lot of people were displaced from their homes. You know, so they escaped into Egypt, and I was born in Cairo, Egypt, actually.
What?
Yeah, on October 11th, 1992, I was born in Cairo, Egypt. And
that's what's up.
The crazy thing is, when I was born, I was a 13-pound baby, and I got stuck in my mom's womb. And so I got stuck in my mom's womb, lost all oxygen, and the doctors literally just had to force me out in order to save me. So, well, not just to save me, to save
and your mom.
I had already lost all oxygen. They thought I was just dead, you know. So they forced me out, and the force that they pulled me out with separated my shoulder from my right arm from my nerves and my spinal cord and my muscles. And so what I ended up with a brachial plexus injury. So
okay, hold on, wait a minute, time out. What is a brachial plexus injury for the medically glossary impaired folks? Break that down real quick.
If you think about it, you know, like over here with your neck and your shoulder area, that's all connected to your spine. And so that's pretty much how your brain sends information down your spine for your arms to move and things like that. So with having those separated, and what led was, you know, I have very limited function of my right arm. So like, even if you see, like, I'll show y'all. So like, I can't rotate my arm the way I can.
Move back just a little bit. Move back just a little bit so we can see.
Right.
Wow.
It's real.
Yeah. So my arm is pretty much palm up most of the time. And so like, I literally have to do whether I'm on the keyboard over here making beats, or whether I'm, you know, writing or typing, I literally have to do most of the things in my life with one arm. And so like, that's been something that's just been like one of the challenges that I've had to live with throughout my whole life, whether I'm driving, putting on clothes, whether I'm showering, or just conversating with people, dapping people up for the first time, things like that. Yeah. So, you know, so when they pulled me out with such force, and it led to that brachial plexus injury, they just put me down and then started tending to my mom. But my mom was like, bring my son over to me. But I wasn't breathing at all.
You were breathing, yeah.
Yeah. And the doctor was just like trying to take care of my mom, just to keep her conscious. And, you know, but she was just conscious of the fact that she touched her stomach and like there was no more baby in there.
Right.
So she just wanted to hold her baby. You know, that's just what a mother thinks after giving birth. And so once that happened, the doctors finally brought me over, and then she prayed over me and prayed over me and prayed over me. And then I finally started breathing. And so it was like a crazy like miracle story, you know, for me to be alive today. And that's why I wear "Thank God" on all the merch. I tell people, thank God for every breath that you could take. Thank God that you are alive today. You know, you woke up, and just be grateful. And I try to lead my life with that gratitude, you know. And that's why when you see me, man, like you ain't gonna see me down too much, because I'm like, yo, if I'm alive, I'm up, you know.
Yeah, man.
You know, but we all get down. I'm not gonna stray away from mental health, but you know what I'm saying? I try to lead with that gratitude, because that always improves my attitude. Yeah.
Gosh.
Y'all right there. Lead with gratitude, it'll improve your attitude.
Lead with gratitude, it'll improve your attitude. Gosh.
Yeah.
Gosh, man. Yo, so you said thank God, right? And you've got the merchandise. That's what gave you. So let's just jump into it really quickly too, because you're great on the merchandise. We look to educate music producers and aspiring artists and things like that. And we know that, and we've talked about having merch. You know, we talked about having merch. How did you come up with, I mean, the thank God? Because it's like, it's so, when I saw it for the first time, I was like, oh man, that just like, it's perfect. You know, it really is perfect. Even if I don't like essentially like resonate with that, like just the copy alone and the period, and it's saying it in multiple different languages, that joint was heavy. Like, what was the thought process with that?
So I'll actually take you back to 2011. So that's when I went to college. I went to the University of Florida. Go Gators, you know what time it is.
Yeah.
But that first semester, I had a summer semester scholarship, and so they gave me a $2,000 refund check. And I was like, yo, this is my first time ever having bread. It was my first time ever having like money in my account like that. You know, I was 18 years old, and I was like, yo, I got some bread. So then I was like, you know what? I give a stack to my mom. First thing I do, I give a stack to my mom.
Yeah.
And then the other stack, I was like, I'm going straight to Guitar Center, bought all my equipment, and that's how I really started getting into the music. And so I was recording in the dorms and everything, burning CDs and selling CDs, because this was back when, before the streams got popping, people were actually purchasing CDs. So then as, you know, technology changed, people stopped buying CDs. People stopped. Who would spend $10 on a CD when they could spend $10 and get all the music in the world? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. So
that's when I began to realize. That's when I developed my logo and then started to put it on all of my merchandise. And I just had like I have the simple logo right here. You can't really see it too well, but yeah, HHD brand. So I started putting that logo on my clothes. It was like a play button too, subconsciously, just to get people acquainted with my music. And from there, that's when I began to realize music that with the transition of the technology, that nobody was buying CDs. It's all about this merch. So I started putting my more energy into the merch when I went into shows, and when I was walking around campus, I would tell everybody about it, right? And then even in college, me and my producer, man, we had no bread. It was around that time where, you know what I'm saying, we would go to Chipotle. We had like probably $10, $15 in our accounts, go to Chipotle, eat half of the bowl, save the other half for later, so you could
for later, bro. Oh, I already know.
We know about it. People know about that. So,
yeah. So, I still do that right now. I still say that right back. I still do it right now.
That's
Go ahead, though.
Yeah, and then so he had pulled up on me with his speakers and everything, and he just started cooking up a beat. And then when he was cooking up this beat, I was like, yo, man, because we was struggling. I was like, man, we ain't got much, but shoot, thank God we're in the position that we in today. So then that beat was playing. I was like, thank God, hey, thank God. And then it was just about being appreciative of what we had. That's why the first line in my song, Thank God, is I got some food on my plate, thank God. Because literally that Chipotle situation, you know, so I was like, I got some food on my plate, thank God. I got some money in the bank, thank God. My whole family straight, thank God.
Bars,
I started saying thank God every single day, everywhere I went, and then I was like, yo, this is the phrase right here. This is the movement. So when I was selling merch and doing more shows in Atlanta, that's when I decided, I was like, okay, the best way to promote my music is to put the song title on the clothing. And so, but even at that point, I didn't realize.
Y'all hear these gems? Go ahead.
I didn't realize how powerful that was going to be for everybody else, too, just to see that message so consistent, like people will see it, thank God, and it'll just immediately change somebody's attitude, change somebody's energy. And so then I started going even harder. I was like, yeah, man, this is what it's about. Like, yo, we came from, my family, I could literally be not in America. I could be dead right now. I could be stuck. I could be back in South Sudan, but I'm here in the position that I am today, succeeding at whatever I put my mind to. So I was like, yo, I thank God even for that. So just being appreciative for the simple things, so it really became a symbol of that gratitude. And so, you know, and it ties back in with the whole marketing game. Yeah, I see you just posted that down there. So you know, that's the best way to, if you want to market your song, you have a catchy title, you know, put that thing on your merchandise, and that's a really great way. And then but then you know what caught you, Matty, was that multiple languages.
That multiple language, Joe. I was like, this is absolute genius, and it's simple. It's absolute genius. Show 'em. English, Arabic, Spanish. What is that right there? What's that?
Japanese,
French.
Oh, Japanese. Okay.
and then French,
Yeah.
and then that's a visual representation of Braille.
Braille.
Oh, yeah, that's the kicker right there. So let me tell y'all about that, right?
Please do. Please do.
So I had just this one, and I had just this design, and I was like, I need to get more creative. So I started brainstorming ideas, looking at different designs, and I'm looking at all these designer labels, right? And they got, you know, they'll be like London, New York, Tokyo, all these countries. I was like, ooh, that's dope. So I literally just bit that style, and I put thank God, and I put different cities, and I was like, I scrapped that idea. I was like, I'm biting too hard, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Being a rapper, you know, growing up in the 90s, being a rapper, you know, biting off of other people's style is just not the way. So,
Right.
So I'm like, how can I just be a little bit more creative? So I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, well, I grew up speaking Arabic. Now I speak Spanish because that's what I learned in school. And so that was my first two things. I was like, okay, I can just put the Arabic and the English right there. So then I did the English, the Arabic, and then the Spanish. And then I was like, okay, it was just a slim logo at first, but I was like, let me make it into a box logo, you know? So then that's what made me have to fill in the other gaps. So I'm like, okay, what other languages I'm going to do? I watched a lot of anime, so I threw in Japanese in there.
Right.
I speaks a little bit of French, and he was even teaching me some French when I was younger. And so then I threw French on there. And then after putting those 5 spoken languages, I sat back and I was like, okay, I could put in one more language. And I was like,
yeah,
let me put, I don't know, how am I going to switch this up? And then I was like, should I put the title of my brand down there? And I was like, nah, that's too up front. You know, I want to just make it creative. And then I sat back and I thought, I was like, yo, I got to include people that are not even going to be able to see this. There's people that are not going to be able to see this. And I was like, yo. And then so then I went and found the Braille interpretation for Thank God. So then I threw that onto there as well. And then I didn't even realize how powerful that was going to be. I was at a show in Jacksonville, not even my show. I was attending somebody else's show. Somebody came up to me who had bought my merch, and she was like, yo, my father is blind. And when she told, she had tears in her eyes.
Tears, man. Oh, man.
And so she was like, yo, it's just so amazing for you to include that representation of Braille, because it not only does it raises awareness, because some people don't even know what the heck Braille is. Some people are like, is that dice? You know, they're like, what is that? And so then it leads into that conversation to where, you know, we get to think outside of our own selves, because sometimes we get so caught up in our own selves that we don't notice everybody, or we don't consider the struggles that other people are going through. Just like, you know, because I grew up feeling that same way. Like a lot of people didn't consider or even can't even conceptualize the struggles that I went through because of my birth injury to my arm. So, you know, they don't really conceptualize like how I have to do things differently, or how certain things might take me longer than it'll take the average person. And like, you know, people will come at me like, yo, hurry up, why are you taking so long? And it's just like, yo, I have to literally think completely different than the average person. So, you know, that's one of the things that I definitely, you know, wanted to incorporate, because like just raising awareness of different types of people is critical. So that's how I really got heavy into the merch game, and I decided to just do it as a full-on brand, standalone brand in itself, because it could blow up before I blow up through my music potentially. Who knows?
Of course. Branding is we were just talking about the fact that like music it can be kind of weird, because your music can get placed somewhere, and you know, your music can get placed in a movie, it can get placed anywhere, and that's shoot it up. You know, but essentially just like the average just buys of people's songs and things like that it doesn't necessarily, it's not as popular as it was back in the day when people were buying, you know, people had to buy that whole physical CD and things like that. So merch was something that needed to go along with the brand. Exactly. You know, and that's something that people just did not understand, is that merch needed to go along with the brand. And when I saw you, I was just like, yo, this brother understands like that merch. Like, this is before I knew all this backstory. I'm just finding out this backstory right now about to thank God and stuff like that, you know, but it's so perfect. I just wanted to just touch on something real quickly is like a few years, like some years, maybe like 5 years back, I was in DC and I was riding my bike. Somebody cut me off. I hit the pavement on my right shoulder. I'm right-handed.
Oh,
so on my right shoulder. So literally, like I had to ride my bike home. By the time I rode my bike home, maybe I was 200 yards away from my house. So by the time I rode my bike home, I had so much inflammation in my shoulder. It was pretty much just like dead. I couldn't lift that junk, couldn't do nothing with it.
dang.
And I had to, for the next like 2-3 weeks, I had to like do everything with my left arm.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't just get up and move. And I can't just do what I want to do because I'm so, and I got good with my left arm, but it just was like, yo, like somebody's got to do this all the time, you know? And so even being in some of that situation, I can't even imagine what it's like, you know what I'm saying, for you, Boondook, to just be staying current with whatever everybody is doing, right? But at the same token, you've got this the arm that you're also compensating with, you know, on top of just everybody else. So again, like it goes back to just like people making excuses, you know what I'm saying, for what they got right now, and like not making excuses,
Right.
you know, because it really just puts it into perspective. I mean, you know, anyway. So that was just awesome, bro. I just wanted to give you that flowers on the fact that like I'm like, this just makes complete sense.
Much love.
You know, like it feels right. The whole thank God stuff felt right, you know what I'm saying, just period. So you got the brand, you got the rapping, so the brand kind of comes into play while you're doing the rapping and things like that, while you're getting your music career up and going. First thing is, what did your parents think about you delving into your music career? Because I know I got a lot of like homies who are from like Africa and other countries, and whenever they get into music, Max knows. Max was a rapper back in the day, you know.
Bruh, so like,
let us know.
Even from the jump, right, when I first started doing music, like at first my parents were just like, nah, they was not having it, right? But I didn't stop, you know, like I started writing poetry at first. So that's kind of how it started. So, you know, they liked the poetry, right? This was back in 3rd grade. And then after that, I started getting into writing rhymes. You know, I was listening to Pac, Luda, Andre 3000, Big Boy, you know, so like a lot of these Southern artists, you know, outside of Tupac in that list, but a lot of these Southern artists I was listening to, and shout out to my older brother, man. He had that Ludacris CD at the crib, and like I think it was Red Light District. That CD life, and I was like, yo, this it made me want to rap. It made me realize I wanted to rap.
Shout out to Luda,
yeah. So I started writing raps, but you know, I always had to make sure I didn't curse at first. You know what I'm saying? My mom was not having this. I was not cursing in my music, none of that. But I just kept on doing it. And then, you know, in elementary school, and then I got to like 5th grade, and I used to just rap at the lunch table and stuff. And my partner, one of my friends, he was like, yo, that's dope. And, you know, our cafeteria was like an auditorium as well. So I told one of the administrators that I had some dope raps, and she came over and she was like, oh yeah, so she was like, let me hear it. And I was like, nah, I was all shy enjoying. And then she was like, come on, don't be shy. And I rapped for her, and she was like, oh, that's great. You want to do it in front of the whole cafeteria? And I was like, no. I was trying to rap in front of all these people I don't know. You know, I was mad nervous. So then my boy, he starts chanting my name. He's like, Bunduke. My full name is Bunduke, right? So he starts chanting, Bunduke, banging on the table, Bunduke. The next thing you know, the whole cafeteria, they don't know what the heck they chanting, but they chanting my name, Bunduke. So I'm like, oh snap, I gotta get up now. So
Right.
Reluctantly walked to the front of there, and I'm just sitting there staring at everybody, and I'm just like, it got dead silent. And I was like,
of course, that's like lunchroom silence, like
bruh. And I was like, yo, I was like, I gotta do this. So then I rapped in front of the cafeteria. Everybody went crazy. They were like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was back in the day before people was like rapping like that. So I was like one of the few people that actually could rap for real. And that just changed how it helped me shed a lot of insecurities about just being in front of people, because like I grew up with a lot of insecurities because of my physical limitations about being in front of people. I'm dark skinned. I'm as dark as they come. So, you know, the hate that comes along with that, you know, both from white and black culture, you know, so I had to learn over time to kind of shed those insecurities, release my ambitions. And then, I just continued rapping on the low, you know, before I brought it to my parents. Then in middle school, I started doing talent shows, and then that's when my mom she came to one of the talent shows. She took me and my rap group to a talent show, and we went out there. We did our thing. We got second place, so it was cool. And then it was like that's when she started to really understand, oh, okay, you know, he's doing this the right way. You know, I was making sure I made all A's in school. I was a superstar student, because they wasn't having that. So it was almost like the only way I could continue to rap, justified in my head, was through the fact that I was making good grades all the time, regardless. And then that's what, you know, eventually, you know, throughout high school, I started recording a little bit more at my homeboy studio and stuff like that. And then that's when I started freestyling too. Started freestyling off the dome. I started freestyling after, you know, 8 Mile dropped, and then and then Nick Cannon was doing the wild style on Wildin' Out.
Oh yeah.
I had us on the lunch break, really going at it. So we was freestyling and everything. So I started freestyling like crazy into high school, and then, like I was mentioning earlier, in college, that's when I finally was able to purchase my own equipment off of that scholarship check.
Scholarship check, that's heavy, bro.
So then I really dove into the music game heavy, and then finally my dad started to come around. Then he was like, okay, all right.
Okay, Bunduke.
Okay, I feel you. But he's back home in South Sudan right now, so he'll call me up and be like, yo, when's the new music coming out? We'll send me YouTube videos and stuff like that. So, that's love,
man. That's love, bro.
Now they see it.
Go ahead.
They see the dream.
I got a question for you. Max, make sure that you ask your questions too, but I had a question for you. How much do you incorporate the Sudanese culture into your music and things like that?
Right. So I didn't used to, you know, I used to never talk about it as much. You know, I was just largely influenced by the type of music that I heard, or like, because when I came to America, I came when I was 2 years old. So I was born in Cairo, Egypt. And then 2 years later, we came to Jacksonville, Florida. Is where I grew up. So I was very immersed in the American culture.
Of course.
You know, so it didn't really hit me until I started to grow a little bit older. And I think it was definitely just because of, like, you know, growing up, like, people don't understand where you're from. People don't understand, you know, culture as much where I was growing up, I should say. And so I was never really motivated. I didn't have much inspiration to do so.
Right.
Just always focused on the bars, you know, always because, you know, putting together impressive rhymes. But then over time, especially within the past 2-3 years, like I got some Afrobeat joints that's gonna be dropping now, you know, and I've been speaking about it more in the new music. I have a EP that I'm working on where I'm literally going to be, you know, telling my story through the music and really shedding light on, you know, what the war in Sudan, shedding light on immigration, shedding light on the black culture and the white culture, being caught up in the middle between the black culture and the white culture in a weird kind of sense, because it's like the white people treat you different because you're black, and then the black people treat you different because you're not really black American.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, being able to shed a light on that type of experience, because there's a lot of people that have that experience. So now I've been doing that a little bit more. I recently did like I dropped a 16-bar freestyle where I was talking about the war in Sudan and how my family literally escaped, and how, you know, that they face so much post-traumatic stress from that as well. Like literally, you know, hearing bombs that are flying from miles away, whistling through the air, and then you got to go duck under a bunker under your home, or like duck and cover because bullets are flying and crazy stuff like that. Like my older sister even has stories like that she was telling me, and it's just mind-blowing to hear about those experiences. So I began to realize, wow, like that this is I started getting more inspired to put that into my music and really start telling that story, because one, it's a very unique story, you know what I'm saying, if we think about it from a marketing perspective, but like just as the real life example, like people gotta hear this. Like people are in this world, just gotta get exposed to different things outside of their own bubble. And like I was caught up in that bubble, but now it's like, okay, I need to be outside of that bubble. I need to interact with my people a lot more, speak about my people's struggle a lot more, and our people's triumph, not just the struggle, but the triumph and how we're continuously thriving.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah. Like one thing I noticed is one thing you had, bro, and I was literally just thinking about this, was like you had a rap on your page recently. What's the name of the rap? What's the name of the song where, again, you kind of just dropping bars about, like, it's like entrepreneurial bars?
Oh yeah.
What's that, Joe, man?
Lemon Pepper.
that was that Drake
Lemon Pepper
freestyle.
Yeah.
Lemon Pepper freestyle. That Joe is heavy, man.
Yeah, man.
That Joe is heavy.
I'm glad you like that, man, because, and that was only like an excerpt out of it. The whole freestyle was like 3.5 minutes, and I'll drop that at a later time. But, you know, I just wanted to kind of give people a little glimpse onto, you know, being a rapper ain't just about money, cars, clothes, and it's literally about building for yourself. Like that's what the music game really taught me, entrepreneurship at the end of the day, from the beginning of hustling those CDs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like even before I was personally hustling my music, in middle school, I was slinging mixed CDs that I was downloading music off of LimeWire.
Yep, LimeWire. Thank you, LimeWire.
Damn.
Yeah.
Downloading music off of LimeWire, burning them on a CD, and selling them that way, man. Cause like I remember, because back in the day, like everybody didn't have a computer. I remember being in elementary school, everybody didn't have computers at the crib.
Nah.
Yeah, man. We had this essay contest when I was in elementary school to win a computer. They say write an essay on why a computer is important. And so I ended up winning that. I ended up winning the computer. They delivered a computer to our house. We're like, oh snap, we got a computer up in here. Those little AOL discs sticking up.
AOL. Yeah.
But yeah, so that was kind of like what
you used to get them jobs in the mail, like
right.
Yeah.
That's what really made me computer savvy to the point today. You know what I'm saying? I could record myself, you know, track out the music, mix it, Pro Tools, whatever. Like, you know, ever since then, like I've always just been computer savvy and got used to creating and doing things on my own. So it really changed the game for me, being able to understand the entrepreneurship. And that's why it comes around full circle when I drop a freestyle like that. Like I literally focus on rapping what I'm living. You know, it's like I'm like you said, when you were finding out things like that, dang, he running the Airbnb play too. It's like, yeah, I gotta run the Airbnb play because I'm trying to get my rent to pay for itself, for example. So it's like, yeah. So that's why I was like, you know, instead of just a house, why don't you get yourself a duplex, rent the other side out, and this is what you do next. Stack your money up, because now you living rent free. Get another property to double up off B&B. So it's like, I'm hard.
Yeah.
When you hear what I rap, it's real life stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's never gonna be like, oh, nah, I'm not rapping like, yo, I'm pulling up in a Rolls Royce. You know, I'm not really that type of rapper, man. I'm gonna keep it real, keep it 100. People gonna feel it, and that's why I think people gravitate towards me, as not just as a rapper, just as a brand, as a whole, as a human being.
That's
Go ahead, Matt.
That's actually what I was gonna say, because thank God is already seen on your T-shirt, and when you explain your story, we believe it even more, and we could see it through the lyrics and the music that you released. I applaud you for that. That's amazing. And so my question I was gonna ask you was related to obviously you're doing Facebook ads, and one thing that I noticed that you even posted recently on your Instagram profile was that a lot of emerging artists, or even artists in general, pretty much don't necessarily hesitate on investing in themselves. And that's something that we see often a lot of times. So I was wondering, how did you get rid of the scarcity mindset in order to invest in Facebook ads and learn about that?
Good question.
Nah, that's very real, man. Cause like, man, I knew about the power of Facebook ads a whole 2 years before I even got into it, which was crazy. Because so when I moved out to Atlanta, I was roommates with one of my college buddies, and he had graduated in marketing, and I studied economics. And so like my whole mindset was like, okay, I need to just build my business, stuff like that, right? But he started getting into the drop shipping game, dropshipping stuff from China and running ads to people here in the States and things like that. So I was just peeping game, and I was like, yo, that's dope. Cause it was around the same time I was starting up my merchandise. And
wait, time out. He was doing the ads for people, or he was doing the drop shipping, or
he created his own brand. And within his brand, what he was doing, he created his brand on Shopify and connected it through Alibaba, AliExpress, where as soon as somebody orders from your Shopify website, it bounces it through this app called Oberlo. It bounces it to AliExpress. AliExpress extracts the customer information and sends it directly to your customer with your shipping information on there.
Right.
And so then at that point, you didn't have to touch any of the merchandise. All he had to do was just run the ads and let people see the merchandise. They like it, they buy it, and they get the item, right?
Gotcha.
Like that was cool for me. I was peeping the business plan. The only thing that I personally didn't like was how it would take sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks for people to receive their merchandise because it's coming from China. So then I think that was a limiting mindset for me, and which kind of deterred me away from like the whole business plan, the whole business structure at first, you know. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna focus on making this merch on my own, having my inventory and selling it right on the spot and things like that. And I was kind of going strong off of my own, just off of the guerrilla marketing that I was doing. And like I was making money here and there. This is back when I was still working a 9 to 5 too. So I wasn't stressing for money too hard at that point. And so I was like, you know, it's all good. And this was like back in 2017. And then 2 years later, the pandemic hit. So that was that. I had just got into motivational speaking, and like motivational speaking is a bag. I'm gonna just let y'all know. Being able to go around, share your story, not even the bag removed, right? Let's remove the bag out of the conversation real quick. But like just the amount of people you're able to impact just through telling your story. Man, I had people coming to me, they're like, yo, man, I was just having such the hardest time with my relationship with God. And like just listening to your song, thank God, and you talking about the simple things in life and just being appreciative for it and looking at, you know, the struggles that you went through, it really helped me understand or work on my relationship with God, working on my relationship with myself too. And so
there you go.
So just being able to make that impact, there's value in making that impact, which is why it's a bag, you know, at the end of the day. But that impact is like, man, it's invaluable. It's invaluable at the end of the day. But yeah, so then 2 years later, when the pandemic hit, all my motivational speaking gigs got shut down. My performance shows got shut down, and people weren't buying merchandise like that anymore. So then I shifted into making merchandise for other people. I was like, hey man, because a lot of people just asking me questions over the years of like, yo, how'd you start your brand? How are you selling online? What are your marketing strategies? How are you continuously getting people in your merch like that? And so I was like, yo, and it was just straight guerrilla marketing, you know, off the strength. So in
Give us an
2000,
example of guerrilla marketing. Just one. Just one.
shoot, you got to posting every day, hopping in people's DMs, asking people, okay, so if I have an idea for a piece of merchandise, right, and I drop it, and I don't just drop it, you know, if you don't, you got to get a pulse check from your audience. So you can post something like, hey, I got these 4 versions. What do you guys think of this merchandise? What would you buy? You know what I'm saying? Because now you're getting people's opinions. People quick to get their opinion. You know what I'm saying?
What's in it for
them?
them?
No, I don't like that one. I like this one. You know, and then people will be going back and forth with each other in the comments, and then you can continuously drive that engagement. And now you know the people who are already interested in your stuff. So then now you can turn around and DM those folks. Hey, yo, we finally dropped. I dropped the color that you actually said you want. Go ahead and cop that. You know, little things like that. So being able to also know your audience, right? Like, I know my audience. I'm from Africa, so I dropped this merch.
Oh, man.
And this joint started going crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Love that jump, man.
Yeah, so like, so understanding your people, that's another form of a good way to market your merchandise. So back to the story, right? In 2019, when the pandemic hit and my businesses slowed down, my Airbnb shut down. So now I got to figure out how I'm about to, you know, have, you know, anywhere from $1,500 to $1,800 a month just to cover my expenses.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so like now I'm like, I gotta cancel my Netflix. I gotta cancel my cancel
my
subscription.
Gotta get a little tight.
Money's getting tight, right? But people kept on asking me these questions, you know, and then that's when I realized, yo, I was just giving out, just answering their questions because I was asking me a question. This is how I did it, and I realized, oh, this knowledge can be monetized. You know, this is not, I'm actually consulting people. Then that's what I began to realize, whether it was making their brand. So as I was consulting people here in Atlanta locally, I was like, okay, I can start up my branding and consulting. So then started doing that, telling people I do branding and consulting, and then made business cards and handing them out. And I was delivering some merch at the post office, and I seen a guy. He had a jacket that said The Gathering Spot, which is a local co-working space. A lot of entrepreneurs go there in Atlanta.
Co-working.
So I strike up a conversation with him, and then we exchange information. And he ended up being an artist who was interested in Facebook ads. But at the time, I knew nothing about Facebook ads. But I knew about everything else: building your Shopify, you know, marketing, you know, all the groundwork, everything that it takes to build before you get to that phase where you need Facebook ads, right?
Right.
And so I call up my buddy, my old roommate who was running those Facebook ads. So I'm like, yo, man, I got to play for us. We could just split the bread 50-50. You know, I'll do the project management side as far as helping them build the brand. And all you got to do is run the ads. That's all you got to do. And he was like,
cooperation. Collaboration. Right.
Amazing. So we got together. We built that business plan. We pitched it to the artist. He saw it. He was like, I don't like it, you know, I don't know how I'm really going to get value out of this. But I was like, dang, like it was a whole 15-page slide deck, right?
Yo,
and I was
you did the work, yeah.
I put so much, we put hours into that joint.
Right.
Hey, bro, he didn't like it. But I wasn't going to let it stop it there. I was like, yo, okay, so, all right, how about this? I was like, how about this? Let me go back to the drawing board.
Mm-hmm.
Let me plot out everything, you know, according to what you really want. And let me present this to you again in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's one thing, you know, some people will run into that situation and just let the business fall, let the idea fall, be like, dang, man, I put all this time into it and now it's dead, you know. But I decided to accept that, you know what I'm saying? When you're able to kind of accept and understand how to pivot, how to move, then I pitched the idea to him. Let me just fix this up and present it to you again. And he liked that idea. I came back, and 3 days later, boom, now we got our first marketing client paying us $400 a month to run his marketing. And so it was great. We were able to do that. But over time, you know, he had to phase out because he's still in the corporate he's still in the corporate world, and he didn't have as much time to dedicate. But this was in 2019, so over the 2 years, 2.5 years, almost 3 years now, right? So over the course of time, I started learning everything about Facebook ads. I started taking courses. I started sitting right next to him. Okay, we building ads. Okay, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And so he was putting me on game. And it was great because it was like, while I was learning, I was also getting paid. So it was like structuring yourself in a way where you can get paid to learn, get paid to execute at a high level. So then I was able to I started studying every single day to the point where I was confident enough to then now present my services to the public and, offer people ways where they can, just simply hit a link in my bio, set up a consultation with me, learn what they need to be doing as far as their marketing and chop it up with me, whether they even move forward with business with me or not, I'm more than happy to give people the game. So that's how I really got into the Facebook ads aspect and just began to be able to shift my mindset out of almost necessity. I have no brand, and so I had to find a way.
You had to do something. And that adversity. Go ahead.
Right.
I wanted to ask you a question. How long did it take you to get from that, I don't know, a thing about Facebook ads to, I'm there. I'm now, teaching, because I've seen you're teaching like Facebook marketing classes, again, getting everybody like on that same tip, not even just music producers, but everybody needs to be understanding that Facebook promoting thing is a beast. So how long did it take you to get an understanding about that?
So like I would say I remember we started in April of 2020, and then from April, it took me 3 months.
Jeez,
every day though, you know what I'm saying?
Every day.
I wake up. This was before I started getting on the morning meetup. That was my own morning meetup. That's why sometimes y'all won't see me on the morning meetup for some days, because I'm
hustling
into my own courses, right? But I would, if you do this if you study it every single day for 90 days, you'll be straight. And now my goal is to be able, that was my journey though. You know what I'm saying? From not knowing anything, taking these courses, finding all these different YouTube videos as well. On top of that, reading hella articles. So combining all of that, without having like a direct instructor that would just walk me through point A to point B in person and things like that, it took me about 3 months. And, with my goal is to have people do that in a shorter period of time, 30 to 45 days. That's if they're super serious. But if this is something that they're going to, want to learn gradually, I would say at least 90 days, 3 to 6 months, and you can get fire at it to get to the point where, you can invest with people in order to, you can invest into a course and then understand that and be able to make some good bread off of it. And not just make the bread, but it helps you think about everything differently. Like I look at everything differently. I look at commercials differently. I look at the updates that Instagram makes to their algorithms differently, all the new tools that they put into place. So like for me, when I just think of something like that, for example, every time a social media platform releases a new feature, that feature is gonna get the most exposure the most attention, off the rip. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So like people that are still dropping normal videos on their page, drop that as a reel. That's just gonna get you way more exposure than anything. Than just posting a regular video or even your story. You know what I'm saying? Like when they stole the stories from Snapchat, stories were booming. Then they stole the reels from TikTok. So those are the things that we gotta peep and be able to understand. And yeah, man, 90 days though. 90 days.
90 days. That's crazy. I just wanted to let everybody know who's still on right now. If you guys have any questions for Bunduke, it's like 4. You know what I'm saying? It's 4, and I'm just like, yo, this interview's been, man, Absolutely fire. Because I, you know, this interview's been fire, and we're literally like right on this precipice. You know what I'm saying? Of just talking about the Facebook marketing. What are some of the mistakes that new, because you have been on the artist side, talking to the new artists? What are some of the mistakes that the artists that artists make, even the music producers and things like that? We can have beat tapes or things like that, stuff that you're putting out for the public that's not always going to be linked with an artist. But for both of these audiences, what are some of the mistakes that they make in the beginning when it comes to marketing, from your perspective?
The biggest mistake that I see to this day, consistent, is people are not collecting data. That's it. Data is the most powerful thing, because if you have this attention on you and you don't know who's giving you that attention and you don't know how to reach them directly, you're losing out. And, 3 easy ways to like be able to collect data, right? I always say, one, have a lead page, or on your website, have a pop-up. You can go to MailChimp.com, set up a sign-up form and install it to your website. So as soon as somebody gets on your website, it'll pop up and you'll be like, hey, add your email and phone number. Because if these social media platforms tomorrow shut down, and like if Instagram and Facebook completely shut down, and then there's a new platform, right? How are you gonna stay in touch with all the people that you already had?
That happened to Riz Islam. You know Riz Islam? Have you ever seen the brother out in California? He, the Muslim brother, he was always Riz Islam. He was on Earn Your Leisure, and he was just talking about that. That was like about a year ago. He was talking about how you need to get a way to get your audience off of these platforms and to get them in your actual environment. And because he was like, if they want to get rid of you, they can. And literally about in 7 months, they deleted his stuff. I couldn't find him. By the time I was watching the interview and looked him up, they had deleted his stuff because he was just dropping too many, I guess, things that were controversial to the, like you said in the beginning, the powers that be.
Right.
So if you don't have that email marketing stuff, gosh, man, there's so many different stuff. So anyways, number 3. Number 2, excuse me. Number 2 was what?
Yeah, number 2, even if you're not ready to start running ads, have your Facebook ads manager set up. And the reason being is because you can install the Facebook pixel on your website. Now, when we look at the Facebook pixel, what it does is it helps track Instagram followers, your Facebook page likes, your website visitors if you have it installed on your website, your messages interactions, your WhatsApp interactions. You know what I'm saying? Because
WhatsApp's connected.
Those are like 5 points that a lot of people, the whole world, is currently using. So being able to do something like that, where you have that Facebook pixel installed and you can understand, even if you have it connected to your Shopify page, right? You can understand who's just going on there and looking at products. There's a sales funnel. People look at the products, people add to cart, people initiate the checkout, then they add their payment info, and then they purchase. And you can track how many people are in each one of those steps, So everybody that, let's say they just added to their cart, when you actually do get to start running ads, you could hit them with the ad that's like, hey, I saw you add something to your cart. Here's a 10% off coupon for you to make the purchase. The same way when we go look at Nike or Adidas, we come back to Facebook and Instagram, and you scroll it and you see their ads start popping up. You're like, dang, they're following me. So it's your GPS tracker for your audience. So think of it like that. Like they coming into your environment, you sticking them with a GPS, and they're going out to the interwebs, and you can follow them. And you can
follow them, right? Yeah. That's crazy. Number 3. So that's
number 3. I would say Google Analytics. Google Analytics is another platform. It's a little similar to the Facebook Ads Manager. It's a little similar to the Facebook Pixel, and the Facebook Ads Manager is a little bit different. So the Facebook Pixel tracks data, and so does Google Analytics. That tracks data too. And what is crucial with the Google Analytics, what I like is the fact that I can see what pages people are landing on, what page they go to next, and things like that. Like, it literally gives you a behavior flow of the percentage
Behavior flow.
of people who are actually visiting your website, how many people visit your website and just bounce. So it gives you your bounce rate. So now you can understand your website optimization and what different things you can change on your website in order for you to start keeping people there longer, or you know, just keeping people into your network. Because at the end of the day, like we were just saying, the goal is to get people off of these platforms and into our environments. Like,
into our
Matty,
environment.
you know, like you get the community texts that I have.
Yeah.
You get those. Max, I think you get the texts and the emails too, because I know you signed up with my marketing meetups as well. So you know, I know who's rocking with me personally. I know who's in my direct network, and just being able to get direct to the consumer and skip the middleman. When you skip the middleman, you make a bigger bag.
Right.
Man,
you skip the middleman, you make a bigger bank. When you skip the middleman, you make a bigger bank.
I had a last question related to managing your time, because, man, you mentioned a lot of great things.
Exactly. This is exactly what I was going to ask too. Go ahead.
In high school, you were hustling. College, you were hustling. You're obviously developing that entrepreneurial spirit. You were working a 9-to-5 at the time, if I'm correct.
Right.
And at the same time, you were working on your music. So for anyone who's listening and thinking to themselves, "Oh, I don't have a manager. I need people to manage my businesses," but you're basically managing 3 businesses. How would you describe a day in the life of Bunduke?
Exactly what I was going to ask. Exactly what I was going to ask. Because I thought Jamaicans work hard, but I'm like, God, Sudanese might be the next up there. Like, you know.
You would think he's part of the Master P family, man.
Exactly, man.
Every product and every service is needed.
That's real, man. That's real. That's a great question. And one thing that I had to realize and be very honest with myself, you know, as I was growing these businesses, was I sucked at organization. Like, I really sucked at organization.
Me too.
And I had to just hyper focus on what I sucked at, and understand that I need to be transparent with people, because they're going to give me the gems, right? So one thing that, so a day in the life, right? You know what I'm saying? Wake up. I try to wake up. Sometimes I wake up and I look at my phone. I try to catch myself, like, yo, don't look at the phone. Stop.
Right.
Pause. Be grateful that you woke up this morning. Be grateful that you're alive. Be grateful that you have the opportunity to pursue your goals, dreams.
Yes. Right? Yes.
That's
gratitude.
If you start with that gratitude, it just does something to your brain, and it gives you a different level of motivation and perseverance to get through different goals, right? But at the same time, I realized what I had to do was I had to split everything into its own thing. Like me, Bunduke, as an artist, I had to put that in its own bucket. By me, Bunduke, as a brand owner, HHD brand, I had to put that into its own bucket. The marketing, I had to put that into its, and a great way to stay organized. You know, when we were kids, teachers stayed organized by having a big old board and teach.
Hello.
As by having a board and letting us know exactly. So I'm gonna just show you.
Your audio went out for a second, bro. Go ahead.
Ooh, man.
I have a 6-foot board. Like, I learned
this,
you know, based off of teachers, right? So it's like, you know, I got my Bunduke, right? So I like Mama Mentality promo that I gotta do. I got a speaking event coming up at FIU in Miami. So those are some things I gotta do, right, for Bunduke. And
9/13 FIU. What's 9/13? What day is that?
That's a Monday. I'm speaking to a mentorship program at the Florida.
Is it closed? Is it closed or is it open?
It's a closed event.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's like HHD brand, you know, I'll write down the different ideas and cross them out as I go. See, like my market research, I need to get to churches, colleges, universities, African student groups, African organizations, African nightclub, little things like that. And, you know, Duke State Media, I got to build a questionnaire for VAs. I know that's my next thing, create invoices. I'm not going to show everybody's names on there. And then even having my thoughts, you know what I'm saying? I haven't done this yet, but I wrote it down. I made $10,000 this month. You know what I'm saying? I'm already on track for 5K, so I'm like excited. My biggest month ever. You know what I'm saying? Or like even when I'm dropping a song, right? I need to have a checklist: cover art, ID3 tags, copyright. I still got to do that, right? ISWC, you know, got certain stuff, ASCAP, DistroKid, all this stuff. And then even for my personal self, you know what I'm saying? I organize all that. So it's like being able to be organized, not just in this medium though, but putting it online too on Trello. I remember when I first met Matty J a couple years ago, he put me on Trello and he was just like literally sat me down. And like, it was real, bro. Like, I met him randomly at a Walmart, you know?
Right.
I didn't even know who he was. And then he's like, yo, pull up on me, you know? We'll chop it up and just hang out. And pulled up to his car rental spot, and we just hung out for the whole day. And it's
wow,
that's really breaking down the knowledge for me. And so, like,
that's love, man.
Yeah, it was big love. And,
yeah, that's love, man.
And shoot, you know, like having that board, I shout out to my boy Julian. You know, I've been rapping with him since we were in middle school. He came over to Atlanta one day, and he went to Home Depot and just pulled up on me with this big old board, because, you know, at first all I was doing, I had this like small little handheld whiteboard, and then I had this whiteboard over here on the side. So he was like, bro, you need a bigger whiteboard than that. You got bigger ideas than that.
Yeah.
And because I had all these papers around, and he was like, yo, you got bigger ideas than that. I was like, yo, you know, surrounding yourself with the right people, you know what I'm saying, is trying to stay organized, even from the beginning of your day, right? I'll be like, in each of those categories, I don't try to OD. I'll be like, if I knock out just 2 or 3 things out of each of those categories, even if it's as simple as creating an invoice, you know, you build yourself that momentum to keep going. So I'll start.
The progress is attractive, yeah.
So wake up with that gratitude. Have your morning tea or your coffee or whatever you need. I prefer tea, you know.
Coffee all day, every day coffee.
Get you a solid breakfast and write down those things that you want to accomplish for the day, but don't write too much because you're going to overwhelm yourself. Sometimes I overwhelm myself with the amount of stuff on my list, so I got to just take a step back and then write it down on my calendar that I have here on my desk, and I'll just write down 2 or 3 things out of that big old list, you know, without and then it really just puts you in you feel accomplished. You're like, oh man, I already knocked out all this.
Yeah.
I'm raw. And
yeah.
That self-positive talk, because we already got so much self-negative talk, you know, negative self-talk,
talk about
positive self-talk, you know, so put yourself in the position to give yourself that. So that's what that would be my advice, and being honest with yourself. Like, I had to be honest with myself that I was bad with organization, so I can attack it head on. I'm like, yo, I know I'm bad at this. This is what I got to work on.
Right, exactly. Real quick, General Victor and McCoy had a question. He said, "Are you touring?" Victor, are you saying, is he touring as an artist or touring the Facebook management or all of that? And I think that this is probably a great place to just go ahead and wrap it up, bro, because I could literally, man, be here chatting with you, and I'm sure that the people, again, like, yo, this brother, man, I was like, we have got to, Max, can we please, man, get Boondock, you know what I'm saying, in there. Max gave me the green light, you know what I'm saying, or whatever like that we could put Boondock in there. And, but again, it's so much stuff that it should be a no-brainer that you all want to reach out. You know what I'm saying? You all want to get connected with Bunduke, especially if you're in Atlanta. He's actively doing these things, courses and things like that. I was just going to say, if it took him 90 days, bro, I'm telling you, I have a family. I got, you know what I'm saying, there's children, all this, that, and the other. I don't have 90 days where I can just sit down and lock myself in. You understand what I'm saying? And to sit down and lock myself in, and I don't even know what I'm doing. That's what you need, somebody like a guy like Bunduke to get you. You don't know what's going to happen. So you might not have 90 days to do that.
Yeah, right.
You need to get in, and the quicker that you can shorten that curve, we're always talking about shortening the curve.
Right.
You know, we're talking about finding a who. And Bunduke is definitely one of those who's that we know we need Facebook management. the Google Pixels, like all this stuff was like, yo, yes, of course. All right. So answer the touring questions on all these different fronts with the music, with the courses and the seminars and things like that. And then let folks know, you know, again, where they can get it to you. I was just typing it in the chat, you know what I'm saying? Y'all foolish if you're not following my man Boondock right now, and just at least send him a DM telling him that, you know what I'm saying, this was a fire interview, that, you know, that you all learned a bunch of stuff. Please, you know what I'm saying? His DM should be blowing up right now, okay? Because he took time to sit here with us and things like that. So let us know about the touring and how people can reach out to you and things like that to, you know, get put on, man.
Most definitely. So as far as the touring, that's one thing that I'm trying to actively work towards. So I recently built myself a motivational speaker page. I'm in the process of rebuilding my website and everything. But if there's any booking agents out there, man, I'd love to, you know, talk to y'all in regards to, you know, that touring aspect, because I definitely want to tour. I've been building things on my own, so I like reach out in all these cities where I'm like, okay, I know a promoter in Miami, I know a promoter in Tampa, I know a promoter in Jacksonville, I know somebody in the A, I know people in Texas. So being able to kind of set all of those up to where I can hit each city and kind of line it up. So
right.
I've been setting up my own tours, I ain't gonna lie, and it's a project.
It's a process.
Like a project, you know, because I got to think about the merch, I got to think about my travel, I got to think about all these things. But it's definitely doable. I have done it, and I'm still doing it. So don't let that stop you just because it might seem tough. But the easiest way to reach me is, you know, you can hit my DMs on IG. You can text me at 904-351-0681. I'll put that information on there too. You know, that's the fastest way to get in touch with me and understand everything that I have going on as a business person. And you know, we could set up a free consultation to where we just chop it up. I could give you, you know, some step wherever you at in your journey. I can help you. Like, that's the thing. Whether you just getting started, whether you're in the middle, or whether you're like achieving at a high level where you're closing, you know, $1,000 clients, $2,000 clients. You know, let's figure out how we can double and triple that for you. So. You know, wherever you're at in your journey, I'll be able to help you out. Or if you just need somebody positive to talk to, you know, I'm there for you too. So that's when my consultations are open for that too. You know, some people just need that, and you know, I'm more than happy to help somebody who might be, you know, just lost and not knowing which direction to go to, because I was lost and didn't know which direction to go to, and I was blessed to have people to provide me with guidance. I had mentors and friend tours as well, you know, that poured into me. So and I thank God for that, and so I want to be somebody's blessing as well.
Amazing.
That's heavy. Amazing, bro. Like, amazing, man. Bunduke said, check him out, interview him, and his story was fire. And Brett, you didn't hold back. You came through, you had the interview, the fire interview that, you know, that you said that you would give. You know, you seem like an awesome brother. Victor McCoy, man, you know what I'm saying? Victor McCoy said it's fire, you know. Appreciate you.
That's my emoji right now.
Hey, that's your try. Yeah, that's a try right there. Yeah.
Amazing.
But brother, man, you know, I want to see just much success from you. People like yourself, you know, that's who I like to be around. That's who we want our environment to be with, because you're going to take care of these people. You know, there's plenty of people out here scamming people. Yeah. There's plenty of people, you know, who really don't know what they're talking about. I've literally spoken with you, and I was blown away. I was just like, wow, okay, like this dude, you can tell when somebody knows their stuff by when you just like, all right, so how do you do this? And it's, you know, all the way down the line. You're like, oh, okay.
I don't even think he took a break saying like, this, that, no.
No breaks. No breaks. My guy went straight on through. So we, man, appreciate you, man. You know, we thoroughly appreciate you. And, you know, this is definitely a place where you can always, man, just come in, chime on in, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. Soundboard Sundays, episode number 16 was lit, man. Do you have one last word to say, man?
Yeah, hey, and I'm glad you brought that aspect about the there's so many frauds out here, right?
Yeah.
One thing that helped me realize that is during the pandemic, being on Clubhouse and just listening in to all these people talking about marketing. I'm like, yo, they don't know what the heck they talking about, really.
Right.
And that's what kind of helped push me forward, because I was like, yo, I can't let anybody around me get played. Like, I would feel bad. I'm like, dang, why you ain't come to me? Because maybe I didn't put myself out there for them to know that they could come to me. And so that was like one of my missions, is to combat all of these fake fraudsters out there who are taking people's money and not necessarily providing the proper guidance. You know, that's why I was like, yo, even if you just want to chop it up with me, I will point you in the right direction.
In the right direction.
The knowledge. So if somebody try to play you, you can check them and be like, hey, no, that's not how this is done, because Bunduke told me exactly how these things really need to get done. So I am a resource, you know, so tap in. We here. Shout out to my brother Matty The Chef. Shout out to my boy Max Mupesi.
Mupesi.
Did I pronounce that correctly?
Oh, you did? Yeah, oh, you did. Yeah.
I do it. I was like, yo,
hey.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. And thank y'all for having me on Soundboard Sundays. Episode 16 was lit. I appreciate it, man. We out of here. Much love.
Out of here, bro. Appreciate you, man. Peace, guys.